Today we're going to talk about newly constructed homes and why you still need a home inspection before you close, even though it's a brand new home. I'm Courtney Boykin with eXp Realty, and I'm going to go over my checklist with you, the things that I make sure that an inspector checks before I have any client close on a new home. It's a brand new home. Why would I even need a home inspection, you ask? Well, one simple word: humans. Builders employ humans, and quite frankly, humans make mistakes sometimes. It has nothing to do with the quality or the reputation of the builder that you've chosen. It's not offensive to them. They have employees and they have subcontractors, and sometimes things don't actually get installed properly. And I'd rather catch that before I close rather than after. How about you? So when you go attend your brand new home inspection, I suggest that you take your file or have your buyer's agent take your file so that you can ensure that everything you picked out, all the choices that you made with your builder, have been installed to your specifications. There have been instances of the wrong color carpet, the wrong color countertops, the wrong color paints being used that were different than what my clients actually chose. So it's important to get that figured out well before closing, to give the builder a little bit of time and opportunity to correct that before you need to move in. So when I have an inspector go and take a look at a brand new home for one of my clients, I make sure they look at these things. As far as the exterior goes, let's check the landscaping. Let's make sure that the landscaping you chose is the landscaping you got. Make sure that any plants that have been installed or sod is in the shape that it should be in based on the season. Because sod can be pretty expensive to replace, and so can other various aspects of landscaping that come with your brand new build. Is there an irrigation system? It's pretty important that we make sure that's working well before we close. Decks, porches, patios. Those are things you might not think about the details on, but you want to check, make sure everything's level, make sure that, if you agreed on a certain type of fastener, as far as nails versus screws, blah, 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 that what you picked was used. You'll need to check the concrete on the walkway and the drive, make sure that it hasn't cracked or settled, make sure that there are no flaws or defects. Somebody's gonna need to bring a ladder and climb up on that roof. We need to make sure there are no defects from the manufacturer. We need to make sure all the shingles are in good shape. We need to make sure they sealed all the nails so that you don't get leaks in your roof later. It needs to be ensured that anything that comes up out of the roof, like a chimney or a plumbing vent boot or a vent, is properly sealed and flashed around. And we need to make sure that the gutters have been properly installed along the metal drip edge. Make sure that you check that the attic contains the insulation level that you and the builder agreed upon. There are no leaks. Just make sure it's all in good shape, nice and dry and tight, exactly how you ordered it. And then we're gonna move to your spigots and your drainage. We need to make sure that all the spigots on the exterior are hooked up and working properly. Maybe even run it a little bit, see how the drainage goes. Drainage, that brings me to another point. Need to ensure that everything's been graded properly so that moisture goes away from your foundation and not down into it. The crawl space, just make sure that everything that should be connected underneath the crawl space is connected the way it should be. Make sure that everything's draining properly. If you see some standing water in one side of the crawl space, we're gonna have some questions and we're gonna call that builder. Any hardscaping or add-ons? Did you happen to order a custom outdoor kitchen? Let's just make sure that that grill works amongst any other extras that you might have had added onto that outdoor kitchen. Lighting, any lights outside, let's make sure those all work and we're connected properly. Let's check the garage door. Let's make sure it goes up smoothly and down smoothly. Make sure it's quiet. And that about wraps up the exterior. Moving on into the interior, the first thing I always check, all the doors. Make sure that they close easily, that they're in alignment, that they're not crooked. One thing I might add about the interior doors in a new construction home, many times an inspector is going to tell you that the door is too low for it to open and close properly. If the home has carpet, builders do that for a reason. The doorway is a pretty high traffic area, And as you walk back and forth in and out of that door over and over again, guess what's going to happen? That carpet's going to go down just enough to allow that door to swing freely. If we had it up where it should be to begin with, there would be a gap. So there's a little tidbit of information you might not know. Windows, let's make sure they all open and close correctly and there are no holes either in the windows or the screens. Let's face it, accidents happen and something could have happened to the windows after install. We need to make sure that they were installed properly. All the flashing on the outside is sealed, all the trim on the inside is sealed. We don't want any moisture penetration. Let's make sure that all the walls, the ceiling, the trim are all in good shape, no cracks, the paint's as it should be, no drips, no extra paint on the floor or on the countertop or where it's not supposed to be. Check the flooring for sponginess, springiness. Your inspector will know exactly what to check to make sure that the floors were installed properly and are in good condition. You're going to want to have all the appliances tested. I know they're brand new, but you never know, there might have been a defect from the factory. Could have been, maybe not installed properly. So let's just make sure they're all working. And you'll want to check out any sort of tech that comes with your home, whether it be a smart thermostat or a security system. We're seeing a lot of our new construction homes here have more smart features than they used to. So that's something that you're going to want to check out while you're there for the inspection as well. Don't forget about that. Sinks, toilets, tubs. There have been instances of things like that not being hooked up on accident. So somebody buys a home, they go and they take a shower when they move in, and they don't know for a whole year that the drain pipe's not connected, and now they've been flooding the underneath of their house or their crawl space for a year. So if you don't plan on going down into your crawl space and checking those things frequently, you should have someone do that before you move in. Check the HVAC system, make sure that it's working properly. They've got a little gun they can shoot onto the registers. That dates me. The floor vents to make sure that the temperature differential is what it should be for the HVAC system that has been installed in your home. We'll want to make sure all the outlets are working properly. An inspector can plug in a little tool that tests to make sure they're all grounded properly and wired in the right manner. I mean, you can get those wires crossed. What do you do if you find a problem? So if we do find any problems with your brand new home, the next step would be an inspection notice. An inspection notice is where we formally list out on a piece that goes with the real estate contract all the defects that were found in the home and your intention to not close unless the builder fixes those things. Well, most builders will offer a home warranty. Some home warranties are going to be in writing, and you can get that from your realtor, your buyer's agent. They'll be able to provide you a hard copy of everything your warranty covers with most builders. Now, there are some smaller builders that might be just building one or two houses at a time, and they don't have anything written up. They just say, hey, for a year, I'll come back and fix anything that's wrong with it. And for the most part, that works out really well. You know, a gentleman's agreement, a handshake in our area works out really well, but it may not. So I think it's a great idea for you to just go ahead and get the home inspection. If you're still watching, that means you're probably pretty serious about being in the market for a new construction home. Below in the comments, I have some links to some other helpful information for you when you're searching for a new construction home. There are so many options in our area, so many ways to buy, so many builders to choose, and so many communities to choose from that you may need a little bit of help. Thank you for joining me today, and happy home hunting.